Pip pip cheerio. I'm saying that because I have my Harry Potter glasses on. But with that being said, I want to see if I can sort of find a pattern with CrossFit Open history and see if we can guess what the later weeks of this Open will be. So, if you guys are out of the loop, the CrossFit Open is happening right now, and they programmed a very redundant squatting workout. It was 20 wall ball shots, 18 box jump overs, 30 wall ball shots, 18 box jump overs, 40, 18 medicine ball step overs, 66 wall balls, and then back down the shipper, 18, 40, 18, 30, 18, 20, with a very tight 12-minute time gap. On top of that, what we see here is a very redundant squatting workout where the standard of the box jump over also helps create a lot of fatigue. And so when you jump over that box and you have to step down, you are loading that leg that is still on the box and creating more fatigue on your eccentric portion of the box jump over. And we've seen similar workouts like the quarterfinals workout from a couple of years ago, where it was 3 rounds for time of 50 wall ball shots and 50 burpee box jump overs, where you had to step down from the burpee box jump over, and you also had to, or you didn't have to, but the standard was that you could do them laterally, which speeds up the rep, which means that you're going to be creating more leg fatigue while you do that as well. So the wall ball shot and the standard of the burpee box jump over also really helped create a lot of fatigue in those legs and made it very redundant. And so if we take a look back in our history, we can take a look at 2021, where we see a very redundant wall walk and double under workout here. 15-minute time cap, one wall walk, 10 double unders, 330, 660, 990, et cetera, et cetera, where we see a ton of upper body fatigue from the wall walk. And then you have to go and do double unders, where if you're not super efficient, you're going to hold that fatigue in the shoulders while you're doing them because you're tense and your shoulders are working a lot on those double unders as well. So we see that. Then the next week we see a lot of hinging. And so this workout here, the dumbbell snatch and the burpee box jump over, you are again jumping over that box. You do not have to step down in these. You can just jump over, which increases the time of that you are hinging, right, relative to not hinging. The faster you can get over that box, the faster you can hinge down to do another burpee and hinge up to jump over the box. And then you get back to those dumbbell snatches. So a lot of hinging, very redundant hinging on week 2. Then we have 50 or 15 front squats, 30 total bars, 50 thrusters, then, classic CrossFit essentially. And then it's a 2-parter workout where you go into a weightlifting metcon here, a weightlifting max here. We see 1 deadlift, 1 clean, 1 hang clean, and 1 jerk. So we see a lot of weightlifting over here. And then on the second week, we see more of the conditioning test. This is the long conditioning test, 20-minute time cap. Some people are finishing sub 10, but, general population, we see a lot of people getting capped or getting close to getting capped. And then week 1, again, heavy shoulder fatigue with a gymnastics emphasis. And so what I see here is if you go far out in one direction, you have to go far out in the other direction for conditioning, and you have to go far out in the other direction for weightlifting, which is something like a 1-rep max. And then, week 3, classic CrossFit here, just to round it out and get in the center of the Venn diagram, if you will. So pretty interesting stuff when we see, redundancy in 2021. Let's see here, 2022. This week, 15-minute AMRAP, 3 wall walks, 12 dumbbell snatches, 15 box jump overs, right? That's just classic CrossFit. And then we see some redundant hinging here for week 2 with the deadlifts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, deadlifts and bar facing burpees. Very, very redundant. My back blew up. And then we have a classic CrossFit here. And so we didn't see anything too super redundant this year. And so you see a lot of the workouts, they're sort of just MGW or, close to where it's just kind of CrossFit-y, right? Compared to 2021. And then for 2023 here, we have the best CrossFit workout of all time for the first week: 14-minute AMRAP, 60 calorie row, 50 total bars, 40 wall balls, 30 cleans, and 20 ring muscle ups. Really good workout, my favorite. 23.2, we have a conditioning piece. I would call this redundant, mainly because we have the burpee pull-up where you are hinging down and then you are then hinging up and jumping, exploding, right? Using those calf muscles and jumping up to do the burpee pull-up. Then on the shuttle runs, you are running, and CrossFit standard for a shuttle run is you turn around, you touch the floor with your hand and 3 feet behind the line, and then you can go and run your next shuttle run. And with that being said, I don't know about you, but my back blew up on those shuttle runs. Maybe I wasn't prepared, but the standard of having to touch the floor also helps create some fatigue when you're talking about hinging. So redundant in the sense where you are hinging down, hinging up, and then exploding right off of that line, running across the floor, or exploding off of that floor vertically and doing a burpee pull up. So either way, you're kind of doing hinge, explode in some fashion, which is somewhat redundant, I would say, but it's very conditioning focused right over here. And then we have 23.2, which is max 1 rep max thruster. So that's very weightlifting heavy over here. And then for week 3 here, we have a lot of shoulder fatigue here. So the wall walks, the strict handstand push-ups, they really help create a lot of fatigue on the shoulders there. Then you're doing the double unders similar to 21.1, where if you're tensing the shoulders while you're doing them, you're just gonna hold on to that wall walk fatigue, and it's really gonna burn out your shoulders. And then you're gonna have to snatch and bring that barbell overhead, which then creates shoulder fatigue, and it sort of stacks over time. And so this one here, with the crux of the workout, if your gymnastics are somewhat good, may be weightlifting. I know a lot of guys that snatch more than me that I beat because my shoulder endurance was just a little better. And I'm not good at handstand push-ups, but I was able to outlast them on the 225-pound barbell and able to snatch those at heavy fatigue. So this one here, a lot of fatigue in the shoulders with a weightlifting bias. Again, if you can pass the test, that being the gymnastics stuff. So again, another year where there is a lot of redundant movements there. So yeah, kind of interesting. So just going back into 2026 here and talking about, what we saw in week 1, which was redundant weightlifting at a very lightweight for the wall ball shots, right? Compared to like a 135 thruster or something. Like this is a light weightlifting movement with a lot of reps. So this is conditioning in the sense of like mental conditioning, I would say. I wouldn't claim this to be like super biased in like the conditioning aspect, but a lot of leg endurance and a lot of redundancy when you talk about the movement standard of the box jump and the wall balls. All right. Brian told me that I should probably give an exact prediction for what I think the open workout will be, putting my money where my mouth is. So here's what it is: 10-minute AMRAP, 30 burpees to bar, rest 1 minute, 25 burpee pull up, rest 1 minute, 20 burpees to chest to bar, rest 1 minute, 15 burpee bar muscle up, rest 1 minute, and then burpee ring muscle up. So pretty tight time cap. You have 4 minutes of rest there if you actually want to get to the burpee ring muscle up, which means you have to finish that first segment in less than 6 minutes to even get an attempt at 1 burpee ring muscle up, which is pretty fast. You're honking for that. But I think that's doable for the elites. I mean, we saw what Mertens and Miriam Van Roer were able to do week 1. So getting to those burpee ring muscle ups is most definitely possible. This is a nod to the quarterfinals workout with clean and jerks, where you rested 1 minute after each set of clean and jerks, and the weight went up as you went. This is the same thing. Complexity goes up as time goes on. Tight time cap. Nice option for tie break times after each segment for the population, and it gives people a chance to PR, right? So I think it's fun. I think it's doable. And then I have a second prediction here in case it's more of a cyclical thing that Castro sort of wants to go for. And so for this cyclical gymnastics piece, it's going to be a 9-minute AMRAP of 3 wall walks, 6 line facing burpees, and 9 toe to bar here. So the wall walks obviously will fatigue the upper body. You go to the burpees, again, same thing. You're going to be fatiguing the upper body with a nice little hinge there. And then you go into the toe to bars, which is another hinge, and you're still active in that hang position, using the upper body there as well. So it's just a nice 9-minute AMRAP core piece where you're going to be riding the line of fatigue, trying not to blow up. And I think most people probably will. This is a nasty little triplet here. So, anyways, those are my predictions of what we may see, just based off of what week 1 is and what we've seen in the past open history. So let me know what you think. I'm sure I'll be wrong. I can almost guarantee I'm wrong, but it's fun to talk about this stuff. I really like talking about CrossFit programming and what Dave Castro chooses to do because he's a psychopath. I think it's impossible to predict. We all saw what he did with those 66 wall balls. It's just random. We have no chance. We have no chance. No chance at all. So anyways, bye-bye.